Okay, so welcome everybody. I would like to introduce myself. So my name is Jan. Here is Jan Labík, Tomáš, and Luboš. We are all part of C and UX team. And there's also one guy which is very likely at this moment watching at home, Lukáš Svoboda. And we prepared for you a topic called design sprint. As you will see, it's a technique how to innovate initiation of our projects and generally of any kind of project in the future. Okay, so let's assume we have a new project. Customer is ready, customer comes to us. Actually, there is one customer right over there from Borda. So let's assume, what is your name?
Volker.
Volker. So Volker is ready, he has got some new project for us because he has money. He has budget for us, he can start.
I have no money.
He is also a team because Pavel, as a project manager, prepared a team for him, so we can very likely start the project. And because Volker has got vision, he knows what he wants, we can start the project, right? But actually, is he really ready? From our observations, we found out that kickoffs of the projects are, let's say, one of the most problematic part of our projects generally. Why? Because we find out that there is many times not a really clear roadmap. Customer comes to us, he knows what he wants in, let's say, some short milestone, but we don't know where the product is heading. We don't know what will be the next steps. We don't know what is the goal of the project. As well, from time to time, it happens that we start with only part of the backlog, and the rest of the backlog will be, let's say, described later. And I would say most often we start with some project with no design mockups or at least wireframes to let's say, agree how the product will look like. And I think that we cannot blame the customers because we all told them that start soon and fail fast in agile and lean thinking is absolutely right. It's fine that you don't have the full specification. Let's start as soon as possible. Well, let's say that we found a way with all the project managers and all the teams how to help customer to, let's say, sort their mind. And basically, we every time send them some agenda draft like this one, that they should think about big picture, roadmap, definition of done. During the kickoffs, we also go through the milestone, backlog grooming, poker planning, and so on. So we found a way how to improve this. But so at this moment, let's assume that customer is really ready. Question is this product which Volker prepared for us really what user wants? Because many times here in our projects, what we did, we found out that we are developing a product for 1 year, and at the end of the release, end users doesn't really want to use it. It doesn't really match the goals what the customer had to really increase some revenue, to increase the number of users, and so on. But don't worry, we have a brand new technique which is going to change it. Let me introduce you design sprint. Or let Jan introduce you design sprint.
Hello, my name is Jan, and I will try to tell you a bit more about the design sprint. So, what it is? It's a workshop which takes ideally about 5 days. It's possible to make it a bit shorter, but less than 3 days wouldn't probably work. There are 5 phases in which we will try to understand the business of the customer. We will try to understand all the details around. We will ask many smart people, and then we will try to think about everything, sketch some ideas, build some prototype, and test it with real end users. And after 5 days, we will try to validate what's really going on, if there is something which is totally wrong about our first assumptions we had. So in 5 days, we should be able to learn very quickly about our first ideas, and therefore we should be able to skip the whole process of building fully functional application and learning after 6 months or maybe after 1 year or even more. Why do we do that? Again, we want to fail very fast. If our first idea is wrong, we should find out very, very soon. It's much easier, much cheaper to find out after 5 days than after several months. So how do we do it? In the first phase, we try to learn really everything about our customer or about his business, about his end customers. We will ask every expert we can. Then in the second phase, we will sketch, we will really try to get everything out of everybody's brains. Then we will make decisions which ideas look good. On the fourth day, we will try to prototype somehow. And on the last day, we will validate with real end users. Who do we need? We need team. We call them Ocean's 11, if you know the movie. The most important guy will be Danny Ocean. He's the decision maker, usually product owner of the project. Then there will be many roles from the business team, like finance experts, marketing experts, developers, technology guys, logistic guys, anybody we can have who can really help us get everything we need for the projects. Usually it should be up to 7 people, for this whole team. Inside this team, we will have a special role which is called facilitator. It's a guy who is watching us to always be on time, not to spend too much time in any of the phase, and who will interrupt us a lot probably.
I would just say that the facilitator is not like special role, which is like different from one of the 7. It's just part of one of them, and it can actually switch during the process.
And then we will have the experts, who we will just ask them to come for 1 day or half a day to have interviews with them.
There is one more thing. It's actually not Ocean's 11, it's Ocean's 7, because the like guys who wrote the book said that 7 is the, let's say, maximum people we should do the design sprint with. The Ocean's 11 is more like example that even Danny Ocean selected people with different roles, different skills, so we should do the same, but the number should be 7.
Okay, so if we go for the first day, after introduction everybody needs to know everybody, and we will try to explain how the design sprint works very fast. First thing to do is to set a long-term goal. In this phase, we try to be optimistic. We want to say, okay, where do we want to be in a few months or in 1 year? How can we really push our goal somewhere? On the other side, we will try to get pessimistic, and we will face our fears. What can go wrong? How will customers react? Will they really use it because of something? Then we'll try to make a map, starting with the customers, engaging with our product, and ending with our goal. And we will try to draw something between how they should proceed in order to get to the goal. In the end of the day, we will interview all our experts we can bring there for some time and ask them their insights. Based on these interviews, we will then update our long-term goal and the questions, because we might get new information. So this is how it can look like. For example, the goal can be build a robot which delivers supplies to hotel customers. Our fears may be, will the robot scare people? Will it look too human? So will people try to talk to the robot, for example? Here is the map. We have several roles which engage with the robot, and our goal is for the robot to deliver toothbrush, for example, to some room.
Actually, this is an example which just say that you don't have to use it only for development projects or software development projects. You can use it absolutely for anything. And it was an example of a startup that they would build a robot in a hotel which would basically would call the reception, and then basically will order the toothbrush, and some robot will deliver it to you. So this was the idea.
On the second day, we have sketching. Many people are afraid of worried about sketching, but really everybody can draw because we don't need perfect sketching. In the morning, in fact, we will have something called lightning demos. We will look at existing solutions from competitors, even from the same company. Then we will start sketching. There are several exercises which will help us draw some ideas of the process we have drawn. I will not get into the details here. Just so you know, for example, this one, you will have like 8 small fields and you will have 30 seconds for each of the fields. So it really tries to get something out of your head very quickly.
And I know that developers are usually not an artist, so don't worry. Like, you can use just diagrams, you can use just really simple sketches. You should not be worried, even though usually in this part of the day or part of the design sprint, everybody is worried, but that's normal.
Yeah. We call it go ugly. Next part is decision. We have many ideas which came up from many heads into many sketches, and now we need to select what really we should go for. So again, we will have several, we can call it exercises, which will help us select something. And of course, we have the decision maker who will have the last word and select something. But there will be several parts which we will do. It will end up with some stickies by which we use, let's say, voting, and some stickies will have special sign on them because it will be those from the decision maker. It's done in a way so that many decisions come first without any discussion, so that it's not the problem of one people being very loud and aggressive and let's say
Too assertive.
Too assertive, yes.
Like me.
Yeah, up to the very last point, there is actually no space for any discussion. It's everyone working actually separately, just working on the same issue.
So in the end of the day, we will have up to 3 selected ideas, and those will be then used. Here you can see the next part on this day. From those selected ideas, we will create something called storyboard. So it's 5 up to, let's say, 15 frames. And in those frames, we do the whole process, which will be prototyped and tested. So here with the robot, we start with a customer calling to reception asking for a toothbrush, and in the end, robot delivers a toothbrush and customer is happy. On the 4th day, we will try to prototype. For us, we are usually only software or mostly software, so it will be much easier. We have many nice tools which we can use, like Sketch, InVision, and many other, but also PowerPoint, Keynote. They can help a lot because we are really going for real reactions of the customer for the part which we are testing. We are not striving for any perfect application here at all. It's possible to also test hardware applications, but it takes a bit more challenge. With the robot, they had some basic machine which was able to move, and on the top they put, I think, iPod with some keynote presentation. So it was just really faked prototype, but it worked totally because you need reactions of customer just for the part you are testing.
Maybe just here, like in case of software development, we are not going to really build some wireframes only, like with some like sketches. We will definitely develop some existing prototype. That was not mine. Okay. Existing prototype, so that we get as most valuable feedback from the users as possible.
Okay, so at the end of the prototyping day, we will sit together. We will stitch everything together because it may happen that people will divide into some parts and everybody will be working just on some on some part of the whole solution. We will validate it ourselves, try to find some problems, and then we will ready for the Friday, which is the interview day with real end users. So on Friday, on the last day, we will have 2 rooms. In the first one, there will be our customer, 5 of them should do the trick. They will try to use our application, our prototype, with just one person sitting with them, sort of guiding them, asking them questions to find out what they are really thinking, how they are reacting. And in another room, there will be the rest of the team watching what's going on in the first room. We will take notes and we will try to find some patterns, how people respond, how they react, and what they really think about the prototype. Here you can see, this is not the prototype, by the way, this is the final product. So at the end, we should be able to get several nice conclusions, and we should find out if our main goal, main ideas in the beginning were valid or not. If we fail, it means that we have failed in 5 days, not in a month or something like that. And then we need to, of course, decide what will go on, if we continue with the product or not. And yeah, we need to write it down.
Like this, write it down. I would say that the facilitator during the whole week either write down himself or appoint someone else on the team to write down. So this should be somehow already written down. It's just to put the things from the whole week together. So there is no like conclusion session.
Okay. So regarding the benefits, I think that it's good just that basically you ask the good questions. Basically, you know that it's much better to think through the application before actually starting it. You basically have something called end user testing or like user-based testing, and again, it's much better to get it after 5 days than getting it after 6 months or releasing MVP after 3 months, for instance. And but the question is, what is the biggest benefit of the design sprint as such? And many of you can think, okay, the big benefit is to confirming that you are heading the right direction. But the biggest benefit at all is confirming that you are heading wrong direction and not really investing this, let's say, 6 months of development and then changing it totally, or that the project will not meet the goal. Because I expect that Volker is not, or Volker's, let's say, employer is not investing that money without any kind of business plan, how to get the money back. Maybe customer can think, okay, when to do the design sprint. I have to say that we already were discussing some design sprint possibilities with some of our clients, and they were many times thinking that it's something like a project kickoff or something instead of project kickoff. I have to say that this is wrong. It's like something before the designs, before the project kickoff, and I think that there should be at least, I would say, 14 days or 1 month before the project kickoff will be, because you should have some time to rethink the output of the design sprint. You should think whether you still want to do the project and maybe change some of the major features. After that, there can be already some after the kickoff there can be already some project initiated. Because except Volker, there are many people here, developers and testers, and maybe some of you are already bored and thinking, why are you telling us this? Because this is more like to Volker and to the clients. The answer is simple. Because if we will do the design sprints with our clients, maybe very likely there'll be decreased amount of reworks, which you as a developers hate reworks. You did something, you built your toy, and then the toy is being destroyed and totally restructured. If you will do design sprint, you will very likely meet end users' expectations. You will very likely the application will be more appreciated by the end users, and you as a developer will be more happy that you did something which actually changed the world. And basically, this all together will make you, as a developer or tester, more satisfied on the project. Maybe also why it is important to our clients, because if you will make this Volker happy, if you will, make this Volker happen, then you will make them happy. Okay, thank you. How can you, as the team or developers, influence it? Definitely promote this whenever there will be some start of new phase of the project, when there will be some big rework or start of the project at all, because you can just like say, it's nothing like to sell some extra thing and get money. Actually, we will very likely use some of our people which are already assigned to the project, so it's nothing to generate extra money, it's just to generate extra value. Yes, you might think, okay, again, do not tell us, tell to the clients, because they are the decision makers. And actually, the question was whether they should not think about it, and whether they should not really worry about if the project makes sense or the idea makes sense. And I can say that, again, we cannot blame customers, because they are maybe doing their first software development project, maybe they did 3 or more, but they do not see the pattern that they are maybe sometimes heading a bad direction, and that this technique exists. And we, as a software development partner, doing 50 projects in parallel at all time, we can actually see the pattern, and we should help the clients with this. Okay, so this was Design Sprint. I can tell you the last message. Let's, guys, not just only build apps. Let's just build apps which they are appreciated by our end users. Thank you very much for preparation by our UX team, especially by Jan, and thank you very much. Any questions? Yes.
Do you have any practical experience with implementing sprints already, or are you just preparing a new sprint?
I knew that question. It's gonna come. Actually, at this moment, we don't have any, but it's not wrong, because as Jake Knapp, who basically wrote the book, said, if you read the book, you are much better prepared than when we started. And I think that this technique, even if you will be doing it for the first time and you will be doing it slightly wrong, it's still much better than not doing it at all. And the answer is maybe what like in the future. So next week we are doing our first design sprint here internally to redesign our CN Jobs portal. Then it's already planned with 2 clients in beginning of March to do it with them. And I already also asked or I explained it to the 2 or 3 other clients, and they are very likely going to do it with us as well. So very likely within, let's say, 3 months, we will have much more experience with it. But I believe that it's technique which makes sense even if you don't have any experience so far.
So there will be an indeed about sprint in 3 months.
Yes.
To do them well.
Okay, sorry. Any other question?
Yes. Can it also be applied to existing projects?
It can. Maybe Tomáš or...
It makes more sense when you are changing something. Like if it's on the projects which is not finished, then it probably still makes sense. You still can save half of the development if it's totally wrong or change the direction. But it makes more sense when there is already app and you are adding new features, then yes. But then probably you don't need these 5 days. They says that 3 days are not good enough for the whole sprint, but if you just add new ideas to old project, then 3 days are probably okay.
It can be even implemented to only some new features which are totally like not tested yet. So he said that there is every time proper time for doing it.
Well, actually, I don't know whether, I think you didn't mention in the beginning that the technique come from like Google Ventures,
yes.
And they use it for every single project for last 5 years. And the company itself, it's like for acquiring new startups. So they are really used to like setting new projects, coming with new ideas, and that's why they use it.
Actually, Google Ventures is like spin-off from Google, and they are like investment group, and they are like starting new like startups. So they found out that this is the way how to, let's say, decrease the amount of unsuccessful startups. You know, the ratio 1 to 10, 1 of 10. So they are trying to fight this ratio.
So Google Ventures is a VC company.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like VC,
Venture capital.
yeah,
Investors.
yeah. Investors, yes. Okay, other question? Yeah.
What do you think is it possible to learn that method also to general people in the company, for example, our editors, they are getting into projects and then they should start a project, and the first thing that my problem is the first thing that we are coming here just say, oh, we'd like to change this teaser to the right corner, and so how much work is it? This is the first question I've been asked several times, and then I say, oh, what is the problem? What do you like to solve? And then it's challenging to get out what we are really is the problem, and so for me it's a challenge to have such a method, a design sprint, to learn those to other people, because I cannot do it all my clients. I some tools are already worked on, but the problem is more that several projects are starting in the company and they are coming just with requirements.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I understood right, but I think that this technique can be, or we talked about this Ocean's 11. We shortened it to Ocean 7, and I think that different type of people should attend. There should be definitely somebody from marketing department. There should be somebody from sales department. Somebody only doing some customer support. I understand what the users are struggling with. So I think that it should not be a problem to teach it to people with designers and so on. It's just a technique which can be done by everybody. Yeah. I think that this is not like any kind of really hard technique. Once you will do it, you will all understand it.
Yeah, we all read four of us the book, which is quite nicely written, and probably it would be enough. There is an article which is shorter version of this. If you read it in advance and then during the workshop you just open the book, and before every day you just read what's the next day program to be really on track, to be exact what to do when, and then you can do it out of nothing.
The only thing which we definitely recommend is that if you do it at the customer side, because most of the 7 people should be represented by the customer. But there should be also some UX designer with skills of doing some design, so that you speed up the time of doing prototype. If nobody did any prototype before, yes, then you can use Keynote and PowerPoint, and yes, you can do the trick. But it's much better if you know somebody who has the skills and who know the tools. And then you only need, let's say, some facilitator who at least read the book and who knows and understand all the techniques. And then you can basically use all these things which are on the table, which is basically that you steal something from the stationery. Let's buy it, not steal. Okay. Any other further questions?
Maybe a quick one. How long is actually the book? If you expect people to read it, if it's 500 pages,
300.
I'm not sure how many people.
300 something, and we bought a brand new book here in the CN library, so you can use it. And they are there's one in Czech, and I finish it so I can borrow mine. So if you want it in Czech as well.
No, it's 300.
Oh, it's
less than
full of pictures.
That's what I was afraid it would be 1,000 or something.
Can you paste name of the book and author in the channel of Slack?
Sure, we will do that. Okay, guys, I hope you bought the idea, Poker bought the idea, so we can agree on the conditions later on. Okay, thank you very much. Have a nice time. Bye-bye.